Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today? Once again, this is Gregory Walls coming live to you from Houston, Texas with his inspirational morning walk. Once again, I can sit in my vehicle here today and go through this little word, man. It's a little cold out there. It's like 36 degrees out there. Just a little nippy for me to have my hands without the gloves and everything because I can't operate and do what I need to do properly when I got gloves on with the phone and flipping through my pages and stuff with the gloves on. So I'm gonna just pause a little bit. I'm bundled up nicely, still get some stuff done. But I'm going to take that little pause and just do this here in the car. But good morning, good morning, good morning. It's still a beautiful day. My heart goes out to all the people in New York. They went through that snowstorm, but I see a lot of fun pictures on the internet where people is having fun with the snow and all the shoveling and the clearing and just enjoying God's beautiful creation. I know it might be inconvenience in some ways, but that is what I'm getting into here today. I'm going to talk about a topic, the complaining spirit. The complaining spirit, even though it was a little inconveniencing in some ways, and everything that we do, sometimes might be a little inconveniencing. Still need to give thanks in everything. And that's what my topic is on today. I said to get into the fasting, but like I told you guys, whatever I'm led to do, I got to do. Maybe we need to get some more information before we get into the fasting, because if we don't be prepared and understand how this enemy work, although we fast and try to accomplish, he'd slip right back in and get the control that he need. He's a trickster, right? So today we can talk about the complaining spirit, that complaining spirit, right? We complain about things, right? We complain about things and not knowing that we're missing the goal of when you're complaining, that spirit is influencing you to complain. It's trying to get you to miss the big picture. It's trying to get you to miss the big picture. Focus on some little thing that you're going to be complaining about and miss the big picture. What I mean by that, let's get into this story first and see. And then we will see what the spirit, how it's going to lead you and how it can mess you up big time in life, right? So let's start with Exodus 16. Exodus 16. We can go from about 1. I can read from about 1 through about 4 or something like that. This is when the Israelites is in the desert, right? Then all the Israelites left Elm. They reached the western Sinai desert between Elm and Mount Sinai on the 15th day of the second month after leaving Egypt. So they left Egypt the second day of the 15th month. So it's about 2 months ago they left Egypt, right? After leaving Egypt. Then the whole community of Israel began complaining again. They complained to Aaron and Moses in the desert. They said, it would have been better if the Lord had just killed us in the land of Egypt. At least there we had plenty to eat. We had all the good food we needed. But now you have brought us out here into the desert to make us all die from hunger. You understand? You see the complaining spirit making you miss the big picture? You was in bondage in Egypt, in slavery. God worked all of these miracles. You look and he worked to get you out. You see, you part the Red Sea. He bring all these plagues. When you left Egypt, the same people who had you in slavery, he put on their hearts to give you gold and silver and a lot of their possessions. You left there with money in your pocket. He did all of these miracles to get you out of bondage, and you complaining. So you think he can bring you out from all of that and then left you to die from hunger? He's not going to provide for you. That's just like us, right? God get us over the sickness. He get us out of prison. He get us, he straighten up the marriage that was giving you so much of trouble. Look how much things he do for you, but you complain about the situation you're in right now. You think he can leave you there? He can bring you out all the stuff to leave you in this situation that you're in right now? So don't complain, right? Don't complain. We'll get a little deeper into it. So let's watch a day's story and see how it messed them up from getting to their promised land, right? Then the Lord said to Moses, I will cause food. This is Exodus 16. I'm on verse 4 now. Then the Lord said to Moses, I will cause food to fall from the sky. The food will be for you to eat. Every day the people should go out and gather the food they need that day. So he's saying, just take daily supplies. You don't store up. Don't store up. Take what you need for that day and that day only. You say, I will do this to see if they will do what I tell them to do. So he said, I'm testing them now. I'm testing them. Selena Ramirez, thank you for watching. So he said, I'm going to test them. I tell them, just take food for one day. I'm going to provide it. I want to see if they're going to trust me to depend on me. So just take food for one day. So don't store it up. You say, I will do this. I want to test them to see if they can do what I ask them to do. So every day the people will gather only enough food for one day. But on Friday, when the people prepare their food, they will see that they have enough food for 2 days. So he's saying, I'm going to test these people. On Friday now, when they gather the food, I want to see if they can trust me that the food is going to last them for 2 days. Now, because if you store up this food, it don't last. They get worms, it starts to decay and worms eat it out. So he said, I can just test them out to see now, right? Then I jump to 8 now, right? So then Moses said, in the evening, the Lord will give you meat to eat, and in the morning, you will have all the bread you want, right? The Lord will do this because he has heard your complaining, which was against him and not us. So Moses is saying, now look, guys, you complain against me and Aaron, but you're not complaining against us, you know. You complaining, Guadalupe Garcia, thank you for watching. You actually complaining against God, not us. This is not we just doing what he asks us to do. So in those situations that you in right now, guys, and we complaining about, we think we complain about our boss. We think we complaining about what our child is doing. We think we complain about the car that's not working. We think we complain about all the snow that's falling. God said, no, you complain against me. I caused them stuff there. That's my works. You complain again. You complain against me. Right? So let's move on. He said, what can we do? We do only what we tell you to. Let's go. Right? The Lord will do this because he has heard your complaining, which was against him, not us. What can we do? We do only what he tells us to do. So your complaining are really against the Lord. It's just like you got to go and carry out. You're a boss at your job, right? And the boss give you the plans and everything what they want to see executed, and you go down to your staff and you say, guys, this is what we got to do. This is the plan, and they start to complain and rejecting what you tell them. Are they complaining against you? That wasn't your idea. That was the company saying this is the direction we're going in, and you just there to enforce it, right? So when they actually complain, they're complaining against the management. They complain against the owners. They complain against the vision of the company, not you, right? So those were Moses and Aaron tell them, y'all complain about this. Y'all complaining about us, you know. Y'all think y'all angers with us, but it's actually at the Lord. It's actually at the Lord, right? So guess what? So God took them out of Egypt, right? God took them out of the Egyptian bondage. And this is how they're showing. They're just complaining about every single thing. The saying even went so far and said, he should have left us in slavery. Left us in slavery, right? So guys, so when we complaining, we're not complaining against the thing we complain against. We are complaining actually against what God is doing, right? We are complaining against him. So let's see how that affects them. Let's go to Psalms 106:25, right? He said, instead they grumble in their tents and refuse to obey the Lord. Therefore he solemnly swore that he would kill them in the wilderness. So all of these people, if you know this story, who left Egypt, none of them set foot into the promised land because of their complaining. The descendants got there. That's why he carried them 40, rung the same mountain for 40 years. When they die out, the descendants. But here what they do and how it affect the descendants, right? Let's go back and read Psalms 106:25. Instead of their grumbling in their tents and refuse to obey the Lord, therefore, he solemnly swore that he would kill them in the wilderness. So he did kill them. They never get to the promised land. But here now, he said that he would scatter their descendants among the nations. So all of their complaining, they bring these problems on the children. that he would scatter descendants among the nation, exiling them to distant land. So all their complaining, they affect their children. So guys, when we complaining against the things in our life, we are complaining against God. We're complaining about our children. Oh, the children, this, the that, they don't do this, they don't do that. But there's a next family saying, God, just bless me with one child. When you complain about the children that you have, God said, bless you with children. You're complaining about all the little stuff they're doing. Instead of you get and praying to change the behavior, you're complaining. And I didn't give you kids. You was complaining, God, why me? Why you don't give me no children, God? I will give them. You're complaining. Some people, I see the kids come home from school, they come home a little dirty, and this little boy child, they roll up, they playing a little rough, and they come, oh, you come home, look at your skin so dirty, da, 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 da. Now, would you want your child go to school, healthy, active child, go to school, come home nice and clean, just like how you sent him? You got a big problem if that happens. A couple of scenarios got to happen there. What if your child go home clean and come back? Maybe they're in a wheelchair and can't do nothing. Maybe just in a wheelchair they can't do nothing. You don't want your boy child go to school and come home just so clean. No. A little boy, he come in smelling like a little boy, man. See, you're complaining when it's God work actually trying to tell you you got a healthy, functioning, active child, but we complain about that. Oh, to leave something in the dishes in the sink. God give you a nice, beautiful house, you know. A nice, beautiful house he bless you with. And when you come in from work, instead of you enjoy this house and say, God, thank you for this house. You're gone in this sink. I would have left this house so dirty. Look, I would have got this sink. Look, to leave dirty dishes in the sink. Instead of you enjoy the beautiful house and say, God, just thank you. I even have this house to come in and this sink for people to left dirty dishes in. You know, sometimes that used to happen to me. I used to like organize myself. I used to work on a cruise ship. My cabin was so clean and nice. The guy that used to clean my cabin was like, man, you don't even know work for me to do. You got everything so clean and nice and straight. I live by myself. So sometimes I used to come home and get kids now, one thing, you know, life going on in the house. Stuff is going on. Sometimes you see the house and you would want it in, you know, a little disarray. You might say, man, but then the little word come to my mind and said, you know what? You could get it nice and clean just like how you want it, you know. But that mean you will be by yourself. That mean you wouldn't have had this child that you had. That mean you wouldn't have this wife that you had. You could have the house all by yourself and be lonely, but you have it nice and neat and clean the way you want it. So guys, before we start complaining, we got to be careful what we complain about, because we're complaining against God. The car that you got that's giving you some trouble right now, and you're complaining about this car that you have. And next family saying, God, if you could only bless us with a car. Only bless us with a car, God. And you complain against the car that you got, right? So you might miss your promised land and miss for the blessings. God says, give us a little to see how we handle it, and then he can bless us with more. But if you got the little and you complaining, but you only got little, he said, I can't bless you with more, right? So that complaining spirit just make us miss the big picture, guys. It make us miss the big picture. I remember a story just from the other day, just about last week, my wife was saying, because you're looking at things now, you got to remember Paul, 2 Corinthians 4:18. So we fix our eyes not on the things that we can see, right? And this lady was in the line at Walmart. She was about 10 spaces back from the cash register. About 10 spaces back from the cash register. The manager, for whatever reason, I don't know what this lady, the manager sent this lady to, and she opened the next cash register because the line getting a little long. And she tell the cash, send this other lady over to the next cash register, and she'll divide up the line and say from here, go into the next line. She's trying to get people out faster. But this lady, she was about 10 spaces back from the cash register. Now, when she go to the new line, she was second in line, right? Second in line. But she's complaining to the lady at the cash register. This is not fair. She shouldn't be in front of me. She shouldn't be in front of me. How come she just come from the back and come in front of me? The lady was like, I just doing what my boss told me to do. I don't know why. But she specifically said, take this lady first and then take everyone else. And she went out to complain. Now, she was 10 spots back from the cash register. God opened a way for her to get out of the store on time. Put her second. But she should miss the big picture because of that complaining spirit. That's what it does. Now she is second, but she's still complaining about the woman in front of her, how it's not fair. Now, if she had went in the line, she'd be 10 spots back. Instead of, she said, thank God that you open the next cash register because I can get out of here early. I don't have to stand in this line. She is complaining. Who she's complaining against? Not God, who opened a way for her to jump the line and get to second. But the thing is, I want to show you the lady at the cash register. She probably understand and have this spiritual knowledge. She did not complain. She did not argue with her. She was calm, and she probably was praying in her spirit. She probably was praying in her spirit, praying against that complaining spirit in that woman. She probably was. Because when my wife said after that, by the time she get up to go to the cash register, which is just a few minutes after, she was laughing and talking and exchanging her stylist number with the woman at the cash register. Because the woman come against that, probably how she handled it. You see, I look at things differently now. Because she just calmed down, and she was there. Because the lady said, I like your nails. Oh, my nails? Oh, yeah, beautiful. I can give you the number for my stylist. She went from complaining, because the woman probably silenced that complaining spirit in her. Because she didn't argue. She was calm. And she went from complaining to sharing the number of her stylist with this woman. See, that's why what we're saying, our Christians, we got to look beyond what Paul was telling us. We got to look beyond instead of complaining. Look beyond and see what's pulling the strings. My friends on the cruise ship too, my good friends, they used to work for tips, right? The waiters in the cabin store and them. I can remember one waiter come down one day, and he was complaining about this, but two people at his table that didn't tip him. These two people did not tip him. They didn't give him any tips. And he was complaining about them. These people that come and then give him a tips and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I said, okay, if everyone had tipped you the correct amount, how they're supposed to tip you, how much money you would get? You said I would get $300. I said, but how much money you end up getting this week without them two people tipping you? Oh, I'll get $400. I said, okay, guy, okay. That tells me about 4 or 5 other people double up the tips that they were supposed to give you. Instead, you said, thank God that I get $400 instead of $300. And I want to bless them people who did not tip me. Maybe they didn't have it. But you still find a way, God, to give me $100 more than I would have get, even if they had tipped me, if everyone had tipped me and paid me the correct amount. I still end up with more. But the complaining spirit make you miss the big picture and make you miss your blessings. Just like these Israelites who could not have gone to the promised land because they complained against God and not against Aaron and Moses. Aaron and Moses say, you think you complain against us? But no, you complain against God, right? You complain against God. You got to look beyond the stuff you complain about, right? You got complaining about the food you got to eat right now. God, this food, the same thing I got to eat. And the next family hungry and want that little crumb that dropped from your table. Right now, the stuff that you complaining about right now in your life going into this new year. I want to get people things that I can share to go into the new year. So when you make your resolutions, they can be solid and sound and you can actually achieve them. All the things you complain about that's affecting you right now, you better thank God that you are not one of those 300 and something thousand people that lives was taken by COVID. You are still here to complain. So when you complain, and God's saying you complain about that little thing that's going on right now, I know it seems big to you, but look at the big picture. You have life so that you could complain about it. You know, people not seeing the end of this year or not seeing the end of today. And before you thank God that you still got life, and where there's life, there's hope. And go on and thank me. You're complaining. You are complaining. Right, guys? You complain about the husband, the wife, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and da-da-da-da-da. And then it's get on my nerves, and the next woman or next man saying, God, just bless me with a husband. Bless me with a wife. And a little trick, guys, what you got to do, instead of complaining, look at what you're complaining about, and that's going to give you the knowledge of what to come against, right? I remember quickly, I'm going to finish up here. Quickly, I was on the airplane one time. I was on the airplane one time, and this woman was like 2 rows behind us. We're going to Vegas for our anniversary, and she was going there to meet some family members she haven't never seen in her life. She was about 60 years old, and she was excited. And she was met a guy that was in some training with her on the plane, and they were talking, excited. They didn't see each other, and they were talking. But this woman had a serious spirit that was cursing, using the F bomb. The F bomb was his favorite word. Every 2 words is the effing and the effing and the effing and loud. She's one of them loud type of person, right? Loud and just using the F bomb, just dropping it. And I was complaining, saying, man, this woman, why? And God said, what are you complaining about? You know what to do. You know what to do. I said, thank you. And I started to come against that cursing spirit that she has in her. This woman was very educated. She had a master's degree. Very educated woman. But when I listened to her story, how the gateway for that spirit to come, she was in the military back in the days in the 70s there, where women was not given the same opportunities that they are now. So she had to fight for everything. She had to prove that she belonged against these men. She had to be drinking with them and cursing with them and all of that. But she had to put in on this act. It come naturally for them men. She had to put on this act just to prove she's hard and she belong among them and they're not going to bully her. And she opened the door for this cursing spirit because she had to be acting like she cursing and she hard like them. And she opened the door for the cursing spirit that left on her. I could look now and see these things. Rather than getting upset with her, I sympathize. So I went into prayer and I said, God, thank you for reminding me of the power that I have. And I said, God, the same power that you operate where you give those disciples to come against those evil forces. Your word said that you give us the authority to trample over all evil forces. I'll operate under that the power right now and silence that cursing spirit for the rest of this flight in this woman. I silence its powers right now in the name of Jesus. And I pray on her. She didn't know I prayed. She didn't even know I was on the flight. But I did that like the last 30 minutes when I really realized. And she went down, did not use another F-bomb for the next 30 minutes after I used my power. But here how the spirit is. I said I shut his powers down for the rest of the flight, right? So when we come off at baggage claim, the bags take a little bit to come. But a couple hundred people on this flight, and I was far away from her. I make sure I position myself far away from her on the carousel while we waiting for her baggage. That little spirit in her make his way all the way over and come and stand right next to me and start to formulate a conversation. And then drop 2 more F-bombs. What's he saying to himself? You silenced me on the plane. Yes, I had to succumb to your power. But you silenced me when I was on the plane. But your prayer was to silence me for the rest of the flight. I want to show you now that I'm back in control. That's all it was saying. My wife said, you see what the spirit did? She said, yes, you silenced me for the flight. I had to, but now I just want to show you that I am back in control. Drop a couple of F-bombs just to show me that find me, seek me out. Just to show I'm back in, I'm running things again now. And then she went her way, just to prove the point. So guys, I want to leave you with this scripture here, right? It's First Thessalonians 5:18. It said, "Be thankful in all circumstances, for this is God's will, for you belong to Christ." Like in all circumstances, instead of good and the bad. And we like to use the thing, God is good all the time. God is good. And we really believe that He's good all the time, and all the time is good. So why, when we get into something, we complain, right, guys? So I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I'm gonna leave it there, but stop the complaining, because the complaining could keep you from your promised land. And that's the enemy's trick to make you miss your blessings and see the big picture and just have you to complain on certain things and miss the big picture. All right, guys, have a great day, and I'll talk to you guys again on Monday. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.